This is Michael Mann, and this is your Loan Officer Experience. Actually, it was an error. Things are not always what they seem. Kenny Rogers, the song, I Am the Greatest. Man, you know, one of the things I just thought about the other day was when almost 8 years ago, my daughter was born. And I ended up losing everything. I was driving home one night. It was raining. It was pouring. And I pulled into my driveway, and this song from Kenny Rogers. And it starts out with the boy playing baseball. And it talks about strike one, strike two, strike three, swinging the bat all the way around. And you're listening to the song, you think the guy's a pitcher, you think the kid's a pitcher. And he goes, and he's swinging the bat all the way around. And then the baseball falls to the ground. So it kind of like brings you up and then lets you down. And then you start thinking like it's failing. And then at the end, the song ends with, I bet you didn't know that I could pitch like that. Like you thought the batter was failing the entire time. But at the end, the song just turns the whole entire meaning, the whole entire experience on its head and goes, bet you didn't know that I could pitch like that. And I don't know why, dude, but that song stuck in my head from that day. And I was in the middle of losing everything. Everything was failing. A couple months later, mentally, that's when I ended up quitting. And I never forget that song because a couple years later, get to become real good friends with Carl White, the Mortgage Marketing Animals, and at this Freedom Club event we were at, you know, I was frequently one of the speakers, and I got to share this story with everybody in the group. I got to share this story with everybody in the room, and I remember going back to that day, and I still remember it being incredibly rainy. I still remember it being one of the worst days of my life at the current time. Worst experiences of my life, just because, you know, daughter being born super early, business crashing, I felt like I wasn't in control. And you know, one of the coolest things I did was I gave up the control, and I still give up the control. I gave the reins to God, and I said, hey man, you're in control of this thing. And what's funny is over the years, I found that the more that I try to inject myself, or the more that I try to change the trajectory of whatever we're doing, it gets worse. Things aren't always what they seem. You know, I think we can spawn off of that for so many different examples. The first one that comes to my head, though, is, you know, a lot of people, when we're making phone calls, we're calling agents, or we're calling clients, or we're calling people, and we don't get a phone call back. And we make up all these stories in our head for what that could mean. So right now, currently, I have an agent that we were doing a fair amount of business with. The business has slowed up. He hasn't called me back in over 7 weeks. And we were doing a fair amount of business with this agent. And what's funny is I was even calling him because I want to invite him to go golfing. I want to go out and hang out with him. And he hasn't called me back. So what are some of the things that you think you could make up? What are some of the things that you could start to think of?
Of why he's not responding?
Yeah, like what do you think of when you don't get the phone call back? What do we start telling ourselves?
I think that's the worst part, is that even though we're not really sure what's going on, we think of these scenarios in our head. And then we think of these scenarios and they don't actually happen. And then now you have resentment towards that person because you're thinking like that. You go, oh, I bet you he's not calling back because he's doing this, or he's doing that, or he doesn't like me.
Or he's got another loan officer, or he doesn't like me, or when the truth of the matter is, it's summer.
Yeah.
Realtors are really busy. This particular agent has kids that are going to college. I know for a fact they've been on vacations, and he's a super successful agent. And I know that. But still, you know, that voice inside your head, that self-talk, is, well, he's mad at me, I must have done something wrong, or he doesn't like me, or he's got another agent, or we can make up
anything.
Gosh, we can make up stories that, and we can, because we're in sales, we can make anything make sense too, right? Like, because we're in sales, we can make up the weirdest stuff and actually believe it, right? And actually think. So, like I said, going back to, and I would encourage you, if you're watching this video, listen to "I Am the Greatest" by Kenny Rogers. Listen to that experience. It's an experience. The song is an actual experience. It's awesome.